Hello there. What's going on, everybody? I'm trying to get set up here. I was out in the garage and I was looking over some things and I was reminded of something that I wanted to talk to you guys about. The ghost here really made me think about it. And that was, if you saw, I did a recent X-Wing interview with Max Brook from Fantasy Flight Games, and we were talking about the new keywords that are going to be showing up on ships. And these are really cool. So I want to talk about them a little bit today um, because I think this is going to open up a lot of doors, right? And I think there's a lot of speculation for like sub factions and for a lot of different design elements to come into X-Wing that we don't have already. And so I thought it would be fun to just sit out and do a little live stream, kind of casual, like discussion back and forth, like some different keyword speculations that we could have, some different things. I'm curious what you guys think we might see, and kind of how some outside of the box thinking here could get us like whole new factions, like Black Sun, for example. So basically, if you guys didn't already know. There's, with the new points, they kind of changed the way the PDFs for X-Wing are going to be running. And they are adding in keywords that are basically list building keywords. And it's important to point out that they're list building keywords. Also, if you guys didn't already know, be sure to check out luxuryplaystyle.com and use code Crabbok VIP to save 15% on tokens. These are amazing full metal tokens. You know what? I'm going to grab some and show them to you. Because there we go. While we're doing this, while I'm waiting for some more people to get in, I'm going to show off some of these because these are really nice. So like this is one of the charge tokens, double-sided, and here's one of the shield tokens. I also use these in Legion for like droidicas and Sabines and personal shield, all double-sided. And they're in multiple finishes too. You can get them in. Like this one's in like the nickel and this one's black. Rather. Really, really nice tokens. Again, and saving 15% is going to be amazing. One of the cool things is they make them double-sided too, because I mean these are not cheap. They're deluxe tokens. So one of the ways you can kind of maximize your purchase is to get like some of the double-sided tokens. Like this is an evade on one side and a focus on the other. And so like those are super cool. But yeah, Luxury Playstyle has amazing tokens. Don't forget code Crabbok VIP. You'll save 15%. All right, so we got some more people in the chat now. We're not talking about X-Wing. X-Wing tokens, or rather, they're not tokens. We're talking about X-Wing tokens. We're talking about X-Wing keywords. And what brought this to mind is that Max Brooks said that Kanan Jarrus in the Ghost has the most keywords. He's got 4, and of course we know one's going to be light side, but I don't think he spoiled any of the other ones. Now, there is naturally, I think there's an assumption that light side may be a token, but Jedi may also be another token or a keyword. Jedi may not be a keyword. It absolutely might not. We do know that Sith is going to be a keyword because we do know there is definitely a distinction between the light side, or rather the dark side, and the Sith. So you could argue that there's a distinction between the light side and the Jedi. If you look at like adult Ahsoka, for example. I would argue that maybe Ahsoka is, at least at the time of Star Wars Rebels, certainly light side, but certainly no Jedi. So Jedi could be a keyword. But which kind of begs the question, could there be a Jedi that is not light side? Or like, are all Jedi light side, but not all light side are Jedi? Or are the two not linked at all? Like, could you have a Jedi that's dark side? Like, I mean, because you could have Anakin Skywalker, and you could give him both. You could give him light side and dark side, because if you're doing Anakin for the Republic, I don't think there's any way you get away with making him full-blown dark side, unless you're trying to call him like Darth Vader Anakin Skywalker. But at that point, I don't think he's Jedi. So I think by the time he becomes dark side, I don't think he's Jedi anymore. So what about someone like who was the four-armed basilisk commander? And I know his name. You guys know who I'm talking about. You know, he betrayed the clones at the beginning of the Clone Wars. Um, you know, hey, how's it going, everybody that's joining us? Let's see. Shouldn't you get into X-Wing or Armada? You're already into Legion. Really depends on what other people are playing. And thank you for the chat, Pung Krell. Yes, yeah. But so like he seems like he could be, because he was certainly a Jedi, but he was not a light side. Like he could be like a straight up dark side Jedi, like somebody who was in the process of turning. Right. Like I feel like he's a good example of Jedi who's also dark side. Quinlan Voss. Oh yeah, Quinlan Voss could be Jedi but not light side. It really depends on which era or what time you do Quinlan Voss. You know, because he dabbled in the light and in the dark. You know, same thing with Revan. So I think there's a lot of really cool possibilities for these. Mace Windu, I don't know how much of all of that is still just in Legends versus what's canon right now, but I kind of want to say Mace Windu is still going to be light side. Him being able to tap into the dark side a little bit, maybe he gets both keywords, or maybe he gets, you know, something like that. I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean that does exist a possibility. Ventress, Ventress is another interesting one, you know. So yeah, so here's another side question. Rey could have been light side but not Jedi. Yeah, there's a lot of light side characters that can be light side but not Jedi. Like, if they ever do a pilot version, well, they probably wouldn't do a pilot version of Chirrut Imwe, would they? He can't. He's blind. How can he fly? But who knows? Maybe he can. But Chirrut and Baze and Chirrut, you know, like are light side but not Jedi, right? So like that's another, you know. I think it's you can get away with doing that. It's just that it's harder to find Jedi that are not light side. There's a few, but it gets really interesting. But I wonder what other keywords the Ghost would have. All right, let's just assume we've got Jedi and light side. Still got two more. Now, I do think there's going to be one keyword that applies to its docking capability. I think the capacity to dock ships is going to have to be a keyword, and presumably maybe ships that can dock may also get another keyword, because that could have something to do with list building as well. You may want to incentivize people to run the Ghost and another ship and make upgrades that can only go on ships that have a docked ship or something like that. So that could be a thing. But I don't know if like maybe freighter, you know, would be something like that. There was also like stealth could be another keyword, because that was a big thing about the Ghost specifically, is that, you know, it was designed to, like, they couldn't track it, and they, you know, it was like kind of, it had stealth stuff built into the comms. Well, and stealth would be very, very different than being able to cloak, because that is a whole different thing. It would also be very different than having a stealth device. It could give them the capability. Correct. Okay, so that's an interesting suggestion from the chat. It might have the Corellian. Like, it is an interesting suggestion. Although I feel like that could open the door towards like, well, how everything that was built in Kuat? How about everything that was built at Nadiri shipyards? How about everything that was built on, you know, Mon Calamari? Like now we need, you know, that could, you know, it could be a thing. But yeah. All right. But let's see. Saw the Ghost and couldn't click fast enough. All right. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with me today. But yeah, so talking about different keywords. Another thing that we talked about was in the interview with Max, is we talked about some of the different like sub-factions that they could potentially do. Like he mentioned Imperial Remnant, which was so cool, because it's like, oh, you're talking about the Mandalorian, right? Like it's something, and he said this kind of like speculatively, like this is something we could do down the line if we wanted to make these guys all have something that made them unique. like Imperial, and especially if you want to make upgrades that are Imperial Remnant only, you know, you could do that and put Moff Gideon in that modified tie that he's got or something like that. You know, so like that sounds great, and I feel like that's a direction that they're probably going to go, especially when it comes to Mandalorian stuff. And it also allows them to balance stuff. This way, they can make upgrades that can go on these ships, but they're not. No, we don't have to worry about. Oh, now it can go on every ship. Crap, we made a modification like stealth device, but it's too strong. You know, something like that. You know, so they can restrict. And of course, you know, some of the keywords that we do know are going to exist are based on certain ship types. Any ship that has multiple types is probably going to get a keyword, right? So like TIE is the most common one because there's a lot of ships that have TIE in the ship type. You know, TIE fighters, TIE interceptors, TIE defenders, and so on and so forth. TIE bombers, you know, TIE everything. But also X-Wings and A-Wings, because we have those in both the Resistance and in the Rebellion. Presumably, if we get the new Resistance B-Wings at some point, then B-Wing will be a type also. And then the Resistance Y-Wings. Y-Wing is probably already a type anyway, because you've got it in the Clone Wars and in the Rebellion. Actually, Y-Wing in the Resistance would make it like the first ship to... the first like rebel ship that now shows up in 2 other factions. Have 3 different versions of the same ship. Well, I guess it's also in Scum too. So it's all over the place. But TIEs are all over the place too, because you got the Mining Guild TIE and then also Sabine's stolen TIE as well. But I feel like they could put like some kind of shuttle or carrier or crew kind of keyword on some big ships that are designed to have multiple crew. Things like Lambda shuttles, the Millennium Falcon, maybe, you know, the VCX, the Decimator, you know, and big transports and stuff. Like I feel like, especially because if you look at what Armada is doing, Star Wars Armada is doing the same thing right now. They're using those keywords on ships, and they said they're only for list building. Now this is another key point of this. When it's only for list building, it means you only need to look at those keywords while you're building your list. You won't ever, at least that's the plan right now, you won't ever have to reference these keywords in the middle of a game. So there's never going to be an upgrade. It's like, deal 2 damage. If the target is a TIE fighter, deal 3 damage instead. Like, you're never going to see that. That's the plan right now. That, granted, that can always change. So that much is interesting. I like some of the directions that they're going with this. So I want to run another thing by you guys. I thought of the keyword Skywalker as a really fun, cool keyword capability, because you've got a lot of different characters in the game. Like if you wanted to do like Skywalker Legacy as a Force ability or something like that, but you wanted to restrict it to certain thematic characters, you didn't want every Force user to be able to take it, you could give the Skywalker trait or keyword to Luke Skywalker and all versions of Luke Skywalker. You know, you could give it to Leia. You wouldn't even have to give it to all versions of Leia, because you could say like this version of Leia it wouldn't work with. Okay, maybe she didn't know her true hit, you know. But you could give it to Leia. You give it to Luke and Leia. You give it to all versions of Anakin and all versions of Darth Vader. And you could make the argument that you give it to Rey as well, especially if you designed a really cool upgrade that would be fun to run on all of those pilots. Oh, and also to Kylo Ren. You can give it to Kylo Ren too. Yeah, so like all of that stuff is like super cool. Like I love the idea of that. And it also begs the question, how long before we get Shmi Skywalker to pilot something? Right? We don't know what she did before she landed on Tatooine. She could have been, you know, in the Naboo Defense Force or something like that. You know, flying N1 starfighters and crash landed on Tatooine, you know, while pregnant. And she's like, crap, now I'm going to be a slave. You know, I don't know. I'm getting a little out there, though. If they do a backstory for Shmi Skywalker, I'm going to be like, you guys couldn't think of anything else to do. Really. A backstory for Shmi. So, maybe not. Would be pretty weird. That would be pretty weird. All right, let's see. I missed some... If that's the case with list building, that could mean that we all have certain types of lists with each with a benefit, like only droid-only fleets go to distribute command dials. Well, you kind of have that already. Right, like the droid-only fleets and or squads in X-Wing get the benefit of, you know, networked calculations, and I think you're going to see that you probably won't have to run droid-only fleets in Star Wars Armada, but you'll probably get benefits for droid-based ships. So, like one common thing that we've seen in other games that use the Clone Wars is one organic commanding lots of droids, and that organic has some kind of keyword that benefits having a lot of droids nearby, like Grievous will probably benefit from having other droid ships nearby. Because Grievous tends to work well with other droids in X-Wing and also in Star Wars Legion. And so, like, I just kind of feel like that's kind of what's going on. Nice beard, thank you very much. It's getting long. It's getting real long. I'm gonna be able to braid it here pretty soon. Well, no, not really. This is like 6 months worth of growth. I trimmed it once at the beginning of COVID, but I didn't cut it all the way off. I just trimmed it a little bit. So it's getting crazy long. I don't know what the plan is with this thing. I don't know if I'm gonna just keep letting it go indefinitely or not. Well, we'll see. But yeah, anyway, so I'm curious. Well, what do you guys think of like Skywalker or being able to do like Palpatine could also be like, I don't feel like there's enough characters like that, but that would be a kind of a cool way to restrict things to certain characters. You know. And, another really cool one they talked about, Mandalorian is a keyword, and so I like that. It also lets them do sub Mandalorian stuff like Clan Ren or Clan Kryze or all kinds of stuff like that. So you can put Death Watch could be a keyword. So Max was talking, and I'm really curious about what other keywords that we haven't seen. Let's see. I'm gonna look through some ships real quick, because not all keywords. Oh no, all of my ships just fell out. Oh, well, this is a bummer. See, I had a binder, and it's a shiny binder, of all of my ships, and they all just came out of the freaking thing. Well, that's what happens when you buy back to school binders for $1. Like, they don't stay closed. Wow, that's really annoying, because I had these all organized. Oh no, now the cards are flying out. Did you see that? Cards are literally flying out of this binder. What is going on? Why would they do that? Why would they do that? That doesn't even make any sense. I'm trying to like pick broken, falling out cards from off the floor. All right, well, I'm gonna have to. So anyway, the binder is cursed. So let's see. We've got the Rebels have a lot of ships. B-Wing, I think, is definitely coming. Z95. I don't think Z95 needs any kind of keywords, unless you get the Black Sun Z95s, right? I wonder if the TIE Advanced will finally get some kind of closure between the TIE Advanced V1 and the TIE Advanced X1, if they can make like TIE Advanced specific upgrades that both of them can take, and that would kind of go back and settle like a years old complaint that I had about the TIE V1 and X1 when those first came out. How many of you guys are like old school X-Wing players that remember all of that drama when they tried to do that years ago? Because that was a lot of drama. Let's see, what else are we talking about in here? You eBay the stuff. Yeah, burn it all with gasoline. The binder is cursed. Oh, that's funny. Do you listen to the Fifth Troopers podcast and their interview yesterday? I did see that they had interviewed Luke Eddy. I haven't had enough time to listen to the entire interview, but I did listen to like at least a little bit. So that's interesting. To be fair, I think from the sounds of it, it sounded like we were kind of on the same sheet of music, asking a lot of very similar questions, and Luke is kind of like, hey, I'm not spoiling too much, so like kind of like the same thing he said to me. So it was really just like a lot of these interviews right now are like, let's talk about the product. So if you were really interested in the product, is a great discussion, but like if you only want spoilers, might not be your cup of tea. And it's tough to get spoilers. Like at least with my Max interview, like I got a bunch of spoilers. As far as keywords and stuff, like not card spoilers, but new mechanic spoilers, and that was kind of cool. But with Legion, there wasn't really much in the way of spoilers. I think he spoiled one thing with me, and that is that the Sith probe droids are going to be special forces. And then one thing with the Fifth Trooper, and that Anakin is not going to have a command slot upgrade. So like little things, that like not as, at least it's something, but it's like, like at anything, like I feel like we're all like really thirsty right now, and like in the FFG is just dropping like drops of water, trying to calm us down, like keep the hounds at bay. Yes, yeah, he did spoil that Anakin would not have access to commands. Yeah, which is, you take it or leave it. I don't always use command anyway, and so and I think with some of the new stuff coming right now, it's less of a thing. Like, what do people normally take? The one that aggressive tactics. I think there could be new command upgrades coming that are going to make you kind of then look at Anakin's like, oh, I really wish I had that one. That could be a thing. But like aggressive tactics is a big deal. But now with like phase twos and reliable one and like maybe you just don't need that many surges. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it though. Like for all you Legion players out there, man, I am really looking forward to Anakin and Maul. Very, very much so. And I'm gonna do some predictions on what I think the rest of the stuff is because I definitely right now I'm leaning towards well I'll save what I'm leaning towards, but like because Luke said we were talking about Dooku and he said oh, and what is I forget because he said he wasn't sure. I was like, I think he's got Ataru mastery or something like that, and and of course it's Makashi mastery. But at the time, I drew a blank, so I'm like, sure, that sounds good. And some people caught that. I'm like, it's not Ataru. Maybe Ataru mastery is something he's working on right now. And I'm like, or maybe it's Gitaru mastery. So I think maybe the next Legion unit is going to be a rock band with Jedi who's got Gitaru mastery, right? Maybe you got Dooku on lead guitar. Maybe you got Vader playing keyboards, Leia singing. I don't know. Gitaru mastery. Okay, nonsense. Absolute nonsense. So, anyways, I guess to summarize, because I want to bring the discussion kind of full circle. We were talking about the X-wing keywords and the fact that Kanan Jarrus is going to have 4. We can kind of guess that it's going to be light side and Jedi. At least that's 2 of them. I don't know if dockable and transport might be, or something like that, or stealthy. I think that's the problem. Is I think of a couple of things when I think of the Ghost. I think of it's huge, so it's extremely large. I don't think you need a keyword though because I think the base already tells you that it's large. Dockable might be a keyword. Although I don't know if you necessarily need that because that's also spelled out on the dockable ship. Unless they want to be able to have ships that can potentially dock multiple things. That's another possibility. I think the fact that it's a freighter is a capability. I think the fact that it's got like stealthy stuff in the computer to kind of help it not be detected by the Empire. Some kind of stealth keyword could also be a thing there. Or maybe that it's like a YV. I don't know if they're going to do... or I'm sorry, no, it's not a YV. It's a VCX. So like VCX might be a thing. I don't know. There's currently only one VCX, so it might not need that. Do you think that in-person play will be affected by online play because of the perspective will be different? I think when people start playing in person again, they're going to be a little rusty. I think when you start playing again, you're so used to like these automatic measuring abilities, and your perspective will be off a little bit. There'll be some mistakes, but I don't think it'll take that long for people to get caught up. I mean, I think it's actually going to be really fun if everybody's rusty. Imagine like new players and pros kind of being on more equal footing for like that first big tournament or something. Like that sounds like really fun. Like that sounds really fun to me. Did we just get a super chat? I didn't see it. Oh, there it is, with super chat from Damon Williams. What's going on, Damon? Would love Chiss Ascendancy content from the new book. Yes, excellent. You know what? That's a great segue because Chiss would be a great keyword. And by the way, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for helping support the channel. I really appreciate you, man. So speaking of the new book, yeah, there's a new book coming out. Was it like later this week or is it early next week? The new Thrawn Chaos Rising. It's the start of a new Thrawn trilogy. And I've got it pre-ordered on Audible. I don't know when it actually launches, when it's going to become like, presumably like at midnight the day of it, whatever. It becomes like, you can now download it. So I know a lot of reviewers got their copies already, and they have like blue pages and stuff like that. That's exciting. Yeah. Crash our SOT stream. Who is SOT? Wait, hold on. Oh, Sea of Thieves. Oh, yes, yeah. I absolutely, I'm gonna come crash the Sea of Thieves stream. When I see you guys aiming cannons like way too low and missing, like it took you way too long to kill that ship. They almost got their masts up and sailed away from you in the time it was taking Jay to go reload his cannons. So I mean, sorry, I gotta kind of call it out. You guys need a little bit more organization. You need assigned roles to your pirates. I'm like, okay, you are primary shooter, you are primary shooter and sales adjuster. You are primary shooter, well, I'm sorry, primary repairs, and then on backup, you are shooter. And then you have the captain, who's like at the wheel the whole time. And he can adjust the rear sails if need be. And in a pinch, the captain can come down and man the fourth cannon. But running a galleon is actually really tough, especially when you got a stream to talk to. So like I'm joking around with you guys. We're talking about Sea of Thieves, by the way. Really cool. Really fun game. Like oh my gosh, I wish. All right, I'm taking a side hook here. I wish they would make a Star Wars version of Sea of Thieves. Like it wouldn't be able to be as ultra realistic because it would take you the whole like 30 minutes walking around the inside of a Star Destroyer. But like what if you could like just walk to the edge of the shooting bay, and then all of a sudden now you're in the docking bay, and now you can get on a TIE fighter. You can fly in a TIE fighter, so it's got the whole space sim thing, but then you can land on a ship and then just like pick which room you're going to. Bridge, engineering, cannons, and docking bay, and stuff like that. Like that would be awesome. Awesome. And like let's say you got like, I don't know, 8 people on a Star Destroyer. You'd have to like, just see like basically be like 8 leaders. You'd still have generic crews and stuff kind of running all the other stuff. But how cool would it be to be in like a gunnery on a Star Destroyer? Oh man, that'd be amazing. That would be absolutely amazing. All right, let's see. Yes. All right, so anyone excited about the Thai Brute? I'm excited about the Thai Brute. I can't wait to see how big it is too. Sebastian's new to X-Wing. You want a starter kit from your LGS? All right. Thanks for helpful content and you and your girlfriend getting into the game. It's a fun game. I think it may be one of the best like gateway games, or like here's something to get you started. X-Wing is a great introductory game into the world of tabletop gaming and stuff. I think like the other 2 games that I cover a lot, which are Armada and Legion, are a little bit more deep as far as like some of the rules. Although X-Wing's been around the longest and certainly has a ton of ships out there. So yeah, there's a lot of content out there, and there's other games and things like that I cover too. Also, speaking of other games, how many Twilight Imperium players we got out there? I got some more Twilight Imperium content coming next week, so stay on the lookout for that. Some expansion related content for Prophecy of Kings. So I'm excited about that. Twilight Imperium, man, love that game. Probably my favorite board game of all time. If you have the players for it. If not, then it's harder to go. All right, yeah, TI4, man. Yeah, it's gonna be really nice. All right, so I am gonna go ahead and start wrapping this up. But I do want to just remind you guys, if you want to get some great tokens, check out Luxury Playstyle. Use code Crabbok VIP. Crabbok VIP. You're gonna save 15%. There's a reminder text in the description below. Speaking of the description below, check out the merch store. You can get cool "Hello There" shirts, or all kinds of like masks, Star Wars stuff, Crabbok merchandise, all kinds of. It's a great way to support the channel. There's also links to Patreon and social media if you want to jump in my Discord or follow me on Facebook or Twitter or any of that stuff. All of that stuff is down there in the description as well. Yeah, if you liked the video, go ahead and click that subscribe button, click the follow, all of that good stuff. But we'll be coming to you guys with some more X-Wing based context. Will Luxury make Armada tokens? I think we keep asking them. They absolutely will. I think the biggest push right now, I got a lot more push from people interested in more Legion tokens than Armada tokens right now. Although I do hear a lot of people here asking for Armada. But just stay tuned. All right, that's all I got. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me this afternoon. And as